probably is not a greater moment in our state.
A familiar face is heading back to Columbus. Who is set to take the lieutenant governor's spot and what he plans to do in the role? Plus, the investigation continues. Police find a man shot in a busy shopping center parking lot. What we're learning and the answers we're still waiting on tonight.
Well, back toward that dreaded wintry mix. It's going to make its way back into the area. There's still a good 36 to 48 hours out. We're talking Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. Will we see rain, sleet, freezing rain, snow? We could do it all. We'll break it down coming up on the other side of this. Kaylee, we'll send it back over to you.
Thanks for joining us here on WTOL 11 Plus. I'm Kaylee Marantet. Let's take a look at your top stories for this Monday night. Former Ohio State Buckeye head coach Jim Tressel has been nominated as the state's next lieutenant governor. Governor Mike DeWine tapped Tressel after appointing John Husted to serve the vacant Senate seat left by Vice President J.D. Vance. Dan Cummins breaks down what happens next.
I said, Ellen, you're not going to believe this, but the governor thinks that we'd be capable of being helpful and wants us to consider this. And she said, you know, it sounds like God has more work for you to do.
Tressel is very popular in Ohio. He was Buckeyes coach 2001 to 2010, winning a national championship. He resigned that job in the wake of Tattoo Gate, not reporting NCAA violations committed by some players. But politics? He's apparently ready for a new challenge as Ohio Lieutenant Governor the next 699 days.
He has the criteria that I outlined. He knows Ohio. Jim Tressel, I trust his judgment. He is a born leader. He's a leader wherever he has been. Spent a great deal of his career working with young people and leading them. He shares my values. He shares Ohio. Jim Tressel is Ohio values.
And so we began the conversation, and we had worked so much on education things because I'm an educator. That's just what I was trained to be, and that's what I'll be till I die. And we talked a lot with Jobs Ohio and the economic development regions and so forth about all these wonderful opportunities that they've created for our state. I mean, this probably is not a greater moment in our state.
That was Dan Cummins reporting. Tressel didn't rule out running for governor next year. He says he'll focus on not just jobs, but also mental health, addiction, and children's services. The father of a slain Toledo police officer has been charged with theft and fraud. Tony Dia is facing fourth-degree felony charges related to his running of a foundation in his son's memory. Court documents show prosecutors believe Dia stole $26,000 from the Anthony Dia Foundation. He told 11 Investigates he tried to return that money. As for the telecommunications fraud charge, Dia says he believes it's from buying cryptocurrency to fund the foundation. He also says he reached a deal with the prosecutor's office to be charged under a bill of information rather than waiting for an indictment from a grand jury because he wants to put this behind him, and this is the fastest way to do it. Now to an update on a story we first brought to you as breaking news at noon. A 52-year-old man is dead after officers found him shot in a Spring Meadows Walmart parking lot. Police found the man dead inside a car around 9 o'clock this morning. Authorities can't share whether someone shot him or if this was self-inflicted. Holland's police chief did say there is no threat to the public right now. This comes just 3 weeks after a teen employee at that very same Walmart was shot inside the store at two other people. Police arrested those two other adults in that shooting. Perrysburg High School principal Aaron Cookson has submitted his resignation letter, that after an investigation into how he handled misconduct claims. According to an email obtained from WTOL 11, Cookson's last day will be July 31st. The Board of Education found he inadequately documented allegations of misconduct by a former staff member named John Henline. Henline is accused of inappropriately touching multiple students in allegations as recent as 2023. Henline resigned in December and is on leave through mid-February when he intends to retire. A suspect has surrendered after a standoff in North Toledo. It's a situation that went on for hours on Homer Avenue, not far from East Manhattan and I-280. Sophia Pericone has more from the scene.
K-League police were called to a home on Homer near Doyle hours ago for a domestic violence incident. Police say a suspected juvenile beat up his mother, and when officers arrived to the scene, they say he then threatened officers with a gun. Negotiators and SWAT were both called in, and after hours of negotiations, that suspect did surrender peacefully. Officers did not give an update on the mother, the victim's condition, but as of about 4:15, 4:30, Homer at Doyle is back open and traffic is allowed to pass through. Reporting in North Toledo, Sophia Pericone, WTOL 11.
Drivers in Oregon can expect to see a detour come Wednesday. The city is shutting down Navarre at I-280. That after maintenance crews found a small leak in a gas line. The closure will be in the eastbound lanes of Navarre from Dearborn to Wheeling.
For a state route to reduce it to one lane heading east when you normally would have 3 lanes, we know there'd be backup. So it's really just to divert traffic, another route to help with that congestion. That's it. It's unfortunately normal in Oregon. We have a lot of underground utilities.
Work is expected to continue through the end of March. You'll be able to access businesses in that area like Star Diner, Dunkin's, and Walgreens. February is Black History Month, and tonight we shine a spotlight on Jalen Smerek. The Toledo Walleye and Detroit native is playing his first season in Northwest Ohio. And as Tyler Segerman shows us, his talents on the ice aren't just helping his team win games, but also build bridges in the area.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. You want to take a lot? I know how much that means to the kids, so when I can, I try to get involved with the kids and try to meet as many as I can and sign as many autographs as I can.
There you go.
4 months in, and already the impact is evident.
Yeah, I got you.
Fish fans, young and old, are hooked on Jalen Smerek.
We're almost halfway through the year, and I still got people coming up to me telling me, you know, they're so happy that I'm here. It's awesome. It's lots of love, and it makes you feel at home.
An hour north in Detroit is where this 6-foot defenseman fell in love with the game, a family affair that would help shape his future.
I was actually a righty when I started playing hockey. I don't really tell that story too often, but I was a right-handed player, but I was always running around the rink, and then after my brother's practice, I'd pick up my brother's sticks, and he was a lefty, so I ended up becoming a lefty before I think I was like 4 or 5.
Not all childhood memories led to smiles, however. At an early age, he learned how to attack life above nothing else.
Coming from where I come from, you know, there's a lot of hate.
Although the ice has always supported Smerek, there were others who felt differently.
You know, kids will make, you know, jokes like, oh, you're the only black person on your team, but to me it was like, hey, like I'm only a black person, and you know, when people come to watch, they see that, and it helps me stand out.
Turning an insult into inspiration.
You know, I'd just love to see kids get out there and try something new and be exposed to something new and not shy away from it because, you know, it's a white sport.
In uniform, he currently leads the Walleye in goals and assists this season among Toledo's defensemen.
Giving out as well, doing a lot of stuff in the city.
Out of it, he's leading an even bigger charge.
Just trying to get, you know, more African Americans involved in hockey and just, you know, be a role model for the next generation.
Whether it be the Motor City or the Glass City.
Welcome to Toledo, bro. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Smerek takes aim at growing the sport any way he can.
Being able to kind of stay connected with, you know, the community in Detroit and connect with the community here in Toledo.
Happy to be home.
And, you know, it's just the best of both worlds for me.
That was Tyler Segerman reporting. Smerek also runs his own nonprofit organization called Not Me You, which helps inner city families in Detroit while getting kids interested in hockey. Chris?
Kaylee, we're looking at wintry weather that's going to return back into the area Wednesday afternoon and evening. I do want to get ahead of this one because it is going to be an alert day. The hits keep on coming here in mid-February. What to expect with this? Snow, sleet, freezing rain maybe arriving after 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Now there's going to be a transition, a change from that wintry mix to even some rain, especially south and east of the Toledo metro. That ultimately likely to reduce the overall snow risk with this particular system. But there's a lot of moving parts and still a lot of details to get through. It's going to begin after 3 p.m. Wednesday, so we're going to start to narrow in on that time frame. Let's talk impacts, what we're looking at when after 3 o'clock Wednesday, and it may arrive with a quick burst of some snow, sleet, and ice, so slippery travel will really begin to impact the region, especially by about rush hour Wednesday evening. Impacts to travel going to be the main concern, not only Wednesday evening, but until things get cleaned up early Thursday. Rest of the night tonight, we're going to be staying below freezing, dropping back into the 20s. That bus stop forecast first thing out the door. Morning bus stop forecast, mainly cloudy skies, 23 degrees. Near 30 as we go into the afternoon, and we'll hold steady right around that 30-degree mark as we go through the after-school hours. Here's a look at the hour-by-hour forecast. We've got an area of snow that's going to be occurring south of the Ohio River Tuesday afternoon and evening. So if you have travel that's going to take you down Cincinnati and south, you will encounter some wintry weather. We're dry, quiet Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Here's the clock. We're looking forward to Wednesday morning here. Still going to have cloudy skies across the area. We're going to hold that wintry precipitation off till about 3 p.m. on Wednesday. And here it is. You're going to see a mix of some snow, some sleet, and some freezing rain that's going to come into the area. And it could get dicey toward that evening drive. A whole mix of wintry weather across the area. And again, more likely south into the east, it's going to be freezing rain, eventually to rain. And this is what limits our snow totals, the heaviest snow totals, where we stay cold enough, maybe far north and west of the Toledo metro, where several inches of snow could be possible. But here it is, though. And again, rain chances Wednesday night into early Thursday as we get just above freezing. And I'll be honest, a degree or two could make a huge difference in this, and we will continue to fine-tune those details. So stay tuned for that. We are going to be looking at the potential of snow, though, mainly west and north of the Toledo metro. Higher totals up across southern Michigan. Also could have an ice risk, which could bring a glaze of ice to many areas, up to 1/10 of an inch across much of northwest Ohio. So generally speaking, it's going to be that wintry mix, but some areas, especially just to the north and west, very close to that heavier snow, which could be 6 inches or more up across central Michigan. Highs close to 30 for Tuesday, alert day Wednesday afternoon into the evening. Thursday, that alert day will continue, and another system will have a close eye on it Saturday and into Sunday. Kaylee, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Lucas County Auditor Katie Moline revealed last week the independent third party hired to review the property revaluation issues. Moline says there are more than 1,400 properties with overinflated values due to a programming glitch. State Representative Josh Williams is separately calling for the state auditor's office to investigate former county auditor Anita Lopez, that to determine whether she intentionally undervalued properties during her time in office. Lopez told WTOL 11 she never had a problem like this during her 16 years as Lucas County auditor.
I just want to get your reaction because I wanted to know your relationship with Anita Lopez, Commissioner Lopez. Before this, what is it now?
Sure. I really think a lot of that is just a desperate distraction. I think it's unfortunate that this is, it's come to this, but previously we were very supportive of each other. But again, with all of this, I'm so mandated by the state of how to perform my duties, and I take that seriously.
Moline says the deadline for taxpayers to appeal property values is March 31st. Jeff Smith sat down with Moline. One thing that's been brought up, and it came up during this interview, was the fact that Moline is a CPA by trade and Lopez is an attorney, and the two might analyze things differently. Is that the biggest difference between them?
Not necessarily. In fact, there could be a couple of other things at play here. We wanted to go into a couple of the things that they have said. So let's take a look at that right here, right now, if we could show the folks at home. In an interview, Lopez told us, quote, "When I was auditor, I worked to make sure that citizens felt their values were fair and modest, and that hurts when they can't afford to pay their property taxes." She continued, "I was elected by the citizens of Lucas County, and I will always fight for what they want." Now, additionally, she told the Toledo Blade, "I was never shy about saying that I am not going to do what the state tells me to do." So this is where there's kind of the conflict between her and Moline, because Moline, as you heard in that interview on Leading Edge, she is steadfast with what the rules of the state of Ohio mandate her to do, and that is to look at their rules and apply it to the property values here locally.
One leading edge you will not want to miss. You can catch that on WTOL 11+. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow.